Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T. S. Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanche Radames, aka Blanchie Kruger. And today's title is A Red Pill Wedding with Donovan Sharpe. Today's title is A Red Pill Wedding with Donovan Sharpe. So I'm going to be showing Donovan Sharpe's Red Pill Wedding. It's quite interesting. I have my complaints about the red pill. I feel like the red pill started out as a good thing, and then it kind of morphed into like anything, a bunch of lames and squares getting involved in it. Kind of like remember when Jordans used to be like a thing? It was a thing to get Jordans, and like everybody didn't buy Jordans, everybody didn't wear Jordans. But then all of a sudden, all the nerds and the geeks and the lames and the simps started wearing Jordans, and the whole Jordan brand just diminished. Now you see everybody wearing Jordans. You see people making Jordans look bad. I remember one guy had a pair of Jordans on that I wanted. Just seeing him in the Jordans and the outfit, I didn't want the shoes anymore. It's kind of like that with the red pill. The red pill started out, I believe, and I want to say it was started by two women, but it started out basically advocating for men's rights. And it ended up morphing into, men being aware of what women can do. And I agree with that. I agree that men need to know what women are capable of. They have to know that because most men are fed propaganda and programming their whole life about women. And the stuff's just not true. Good morning, Tierra. The stuff's just not true. And so men need to know the true nature of a woman. And the problem has been, it's been a lot of lies told about female nature and about male nature. I don't know why my microphone. I don't know why my mic keeps getting unplugged. Let me refresh my screen. Hopefully this is better. I had to refresh my screen. Hopefully this is better, but anyway, there have been a lot of lies told about men and women, and it was done to better control society. So what you do is you convince men that women should be their equals. And once you convince men that that's necessary, then you have the problems that you have today. Most of the problems we see in the world are because women are seen as equal to men. The problem with women being equal to men is that in God's eyes, women are equal in value to men, but we're not equal in role. So that means that men have roles they must be in, women have roles they must be in. This whole notion that men and women have equality when it comes to roles in life is false. We are equal in value, yes, meaning that a man's not more valuable than a woman in the eyes of God. However, when it comes to the roles of men and women, they're not equal. Men have greater roles in society than women. Oh yeah, I posted about Klay Thompson, and again, even with Meg Thee Stallion, most of what you see when you see the support of Meg Thee Stallion, Erica Kirk, Candace Owens, most of the support of these women is coming from women because women want to see a woman with power. They want to see a woman in charge and in control. So most of the support these women get is from other women. A woman will unfollow me. I remember I was getting unfollowed by women because I got on Meg Thee Stallion years ago with the whole Tory Lanez thing. I broke that thing wide open years ago when women were unfollowing me based on my opinions. They couldn't refute when it came to Meg Thee Stallion. So what I'm telling you is that these women have followers because women want to see women with power. Women want to see women in charge. It's feminism because there's no way as a woman you could feel safe with a woman in charge. There's nothing in history that's shown you women running things that's going to be good. It's just feminism. But let's continue. I have a clip right here. I want to show this clip real quick before I jump into this wedding. I don't know what is wrong with this. Where is that clip? That's strange. That is very strange. I need that clip.
You should have one of two things.
I need that clip.
Private marriage.
That's weird. Hold on a second, IG. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know where this clip is. It's weird. No, the clip didn't show up for some reason. I'm just going to airdrop it. This thing is acting very strange.
Oh. You get married, just don't get the state involved.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had this wire on the space bar. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? I had this wire on the space bar. Won't he do it? See? Won't he do it? Let me just slide these over here real quick. Okay, I see it. That's why I didn't see it. Because it looks like that. That's why I didn't see it. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. Let's jump right into it. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Give me 1 second, y'all. Man, sorry about this, y'all. I don't know where. This is crazy. Why is this so hard to find? Hold on.
What do you when somebody else is doing?
Oh my goodness, y'all. This is crazy. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. There we go. Goodness. And it was the first video.
When somebody else is doing everything that your spouse won't or isn't.
How do you know?
How do you know that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
That's a good question.
I would answer that with a question. How did they become your spouse without doing everything that this new person is doing?
They were at first. And now it's like they're stagnant, they're not doing nothing, they're complacent with where they're at in life.
I want to go back to what you said. Why is that still your spouse? Bad spiritual hygiene to stay in a place where you are not honored, where you are not valued, where you are not happy, because it requires the level of emotional dishonesty from you to stay somewhere and act like it's okay when it's not.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say, you know, sweetie, to take some self-inventory, because a lot of times, oftentimes what's missing in the relationship is what we're not giving or bringing to it. And so take some self-inventory and say, okay, a couple of things. Where did, if I did, fall off? Are there things that I stopped doing that triggered or caused him to stop showing up in the way that he did? Everything is a cause and effect. So let's figure out where the cause is and what's affecting it so we can get to the root of what's going on, because stepping out on him is really a deficit of your self-love. It's really a deficit within yourself as a woman. And the last thing I would want you to do is allow a man, I don't care how much you love him, to shift your self-love, to make your character shift into a place that's not good when you should be showing up to the best ability of who you are no matter what.
I love what you said. He didn't make her do. You answered those DMs. You responded back to that man. You like and excited about another person, and I think that's the accountability we have to take. It's always on my partner's deficit, and I understand there are some influences.
Yes.
But to scapegoat our lack of boundaries, our lack of a good moral code, our lack of discipline. Because I'm gonna tell you this, you said spouse, you did not say your boyfriend, correct? That spouse you said till death do us part, right? Not till Reggie slides in my
But wait a
DM and I
minute, death
respond.
of what? Death of what?
Okay.
Till death do us part. Death of what?
Oh! I guarantee you that spouse doesn't know.
She knows about him.
Huh?
Oh, my fault.
What happened?
Wait a minute. Hold on. She knows about
She did
him.
a Fix My Life show.
You married to a woman, and you cheating with a man?
Ooh! She not cheating. She's just getting some attention.
So I just played that clip because I wanted to show that nobody really addressed the fact that she was cheating. Now, granted, it's some foolishness, but notice how the panel, when they thought it was a man, nobody addressed that she was just wrong for cheating. This is the problem with women in general, is accountability. So you notice she starts out by saying that the reason why she says somebody is doing what my spouse isn't doing, how do they have the opportunity to do it? How do they have the opportunity to do it if you are married? You notice that the panel keeps talking about everything but the fact that she's cheating. And then Dr. Bryant, she says, don't let somebody get you out of your character, not just telling her that she's wrong. Nobody is telling her that she's wrong. And then Ayanna Fix My Life talks about death of what? Then they get to dancing, hooting, and hollering because these people looking for a way out. Nobody wants to be accountable. Nobody on this stage said, ma'am, you are wrong for cheating on your spouse, period. You're wrong. We can't even entertain nothing else. This is why I tell people, if somebody cheats, it doesn't have to talk after that. Once somebody cheats, that's it. There's nothing to talk about. Because even if I was the worst person or she was the worst person, cheating is a reflection of my character or her character. So once you cheat, everything else is null and void because nobody can make you cheat. Worst case scenario, you say, you know what? It's not fulfilling me. I'm out. But once you cheat, cheating is a reflection of your character. And so because it's a character revealer and it's a woman with a microphone, nobody wants to just say, ma'am, you're wrong for cheating. Remember what I said, accountability for a woman is like being caught. Nobody wants to just say, ma'am, you're wrong, period. I don't care what your spouse did. You're wrong for cheating because once you cheat, now it's on you. You can go to your spouse and say, this ain't working. You can say, I want a divorce. You can say, we need to separate. You can say anything. But when you cheat, that means you have to lie to cheat. So that means you're a liar. You're a cheater. You got to deceive. So you're a deceiver. Look at all the negative things that go with you cheating. Those things outweigh what your significant other is doing. They do, because those are character flaws that nobody can help. You got to fix those. Yes, Mika. People play with marriage too much, but again, look at the audience, look at the panel. Nobody wants to just say that she's wrong. So I do understand why there is a red pill. I understand it's necessary in the contextual sense. The red pill is necessary because again, if the propaganda of women is believed to be true, look what happens to society. It's over. Imagine a group of people that have the same equal rights as men. They have the same power as men, but they have none of the responsibility or they don't have to be accountable. That is a disaster for society. And so I'm doing these talks. I'm really talking to men and women. Men have to know a woman's nature. A woman has to conquer her nature, much like a man must conquer his. It is a task for both the man and the woman. But to sit here and say that women are inherently good is just a work of the devil. It's a woman's nature to want to usurp the man's authority. That's in her nature to do. Her initial reaction is to see a man. She likes the guy, but her nature is to conquer that man. That's her nature. And men have to know this. Women have to know this. That's why a lot of attraction for a woman is manipulation. How can I get this guy to do what I want him to do? Let's continue. I'm going to play a video of Donovan Sharpe, then I'm going to go into the wedding. Hold on. If you don't believe me, hold on. Play this real quick first. Listen to this woman. She is 93 years old.
Grow up. You pretty attractive.
My bad. She's 98 years old. She's 98 years old. Listen to the advice that she's giving women. First of all, look at her face. Look at her face. Now, based on her face, what type of advice is she about to give women? Look at her face. This woman is 98 years old. This woman was alive during slavery. She is 98 years old. Look at her face and tell me, you think she's about to give some good sound advice or she about to say something foolish? Just look at her face.
Grow up. You pretty attractive, so grow into it. Don't just look and grow into it. Make the men respect it. Make the men love it. Don't be loving them. Make them love you. And you see how you can take their asses for all they got because they stupid. But you gotta be a wise woman.
You heard the advice that she gave? This woman is 98 years old. Do you see the advice she gave women? I'm going to play it again because this is a woman. So this is what happens when a woman nature takes over. They look demonic. They look possessed because Satan is already, she's given over to Satan. This woman right here. I don't care how old she looks. I don't care about her being old, looking like somebody's grandma. She's given over to Satan. This is part of the propaganda and deception. And if she's an older woman, she's automatically virtuous. That's a lie.
Grow up. You pretty attractive, so grow into it. Don't just look and grow into it. Make the men respect it. Make the men love it. Don't be loving them. Make them love you. And you see how you can take their asses for all they got because they stupid. But you gotta be a wise woman.
Top Herc said this is what Cobra Commander looks like without the mask. Y'all are out of control, man. This man said this is what Cobra Commander looks like without the mask. I don't know if y'all familiar with G.I. Joe, but their number one nemesis was Cobra Commander, then it was Serpentor, and then it was in the movie they had to defeat the people that Serpentor came from, Galabulus, whatever, I don't know. So whatever snake world they was from, that's where they all from. Anyway, boy, this is funny. But anyway, she told women to basically manipulate men. Don't love them, manipulate them. This is what a 98-year-old woman told women to do. Manipulate men. Don't love them, manipulate them. I'm just telling you. So this is a woman's nature. This is what happened. A lot of you women are going to end up like her. You're going to end up just like her. You're going to end up just like this, miserable, possessed, just ornery, angry. Nobody's going to want to be around you. Let's continue.
If I did fall off.
Let me see this video right here. Let me see.
Our truth, guys, is that you can either love women or you can understand them, but you can rarely do both. Once a man sees the truth about how women really operate and what their true motivations are, the magic dies. They're no longer these mythical, magical, beautiful, innocent creatures that we are raised to believe they were. Because once you truly understand women, you realize that every I love you comes with a contract, and that contract is 457% conditional. The sex, the love, and the loyalty are all rented, never owned. And once your eyes are open, you cannot close them. Once you take the red pill, you can't spit it out. Because what happens is you start seeing the patterns. You see the manipulation, you see the testing, you see the hypergamy, and you see the performance. And every one of them is perfectly rehearsed. To love a woman blindly, you have to delete all logic from your brain. You have to pretend her past doesn't matter, you have to ignore the mind games, and you have to convince yourself that she's different. That ain't love, guys, that's hypnosis. But a man who understands doesn't chase. He observes and he reads the fine print before signing, because he knows two things. Number one, her loyalty has an expiration date, and number two, her love has conditions. And I know we're gonna have bitches squawking, not all women are like that. I know I'm gonna have women in the comments talking about, you've just been hurt, you're bitter. All of that nonsense translates to lower your guard so I can try again. See, love makes you soft, gentlemen. And the reason I know this is because I'm experiencing this very phenomenon right now. I love my wife, please believe, but I can freely admit that I'm not as hardened as I once was. I'm not as physically fit as I used to be, and I'm not as sharp or as witty as I used to be. Obviously, I'm constantly working on these things, but the truth is the truth, guys. And this is exactly why most men stay in denial. You see, the truth kills the fairy tale, but it also builds the man. And once you truly understand women, you will never love the same. Not because you're bitter, but because you're awake. And once a man is awake, he understands that if he understands women, he will never love women the same again.
Remember I mentioned before about women. So this is what happened in these modern times. Women got on social media and they said how they felt. And the problem is they were too honest. So women took away the magic that they once possessed. They got on social media, they talked so crazy. And so now men are evolving and learning from women, learning a woman's nature. And the problem is that once a man figures out women, how they operate, it pretty much does destroy the fantasy. Now, as a man, you know, I want a family, you know, I want a wife, I want, you know, a farm, all these kind of things. However, I'm also realistic to know that it's going to be very challenging for me because I have standards. And if I'm not going to sell my soul, I won't have access to most women. You know, most men sell their soul for vagina. It is what it is. And so because I'm not willing to do that, is going to limit my choices out there. Now, listen, I can get a woman and just sabotage myself and throw myself in a rat trap and just destroy myself. Yeah, I can do that, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to hold on to my standards. I'm going to hold on to what God called me to do and who God called me to be. So that's going to come first. And the woman's going to come after my purpose. So it's God, purpose, then the woman. And if a woman understands that, then we can all have a happy life. If she doesn't, then she won't be an option. But men have to know the nature of a woman. Men have to go to God to figure out who they are. Then they have to walk in their purpose. This may take years. It may take months. I don't know the time frame on it, but men have to do this. Men mature when they are alone. Women mature under the leadership of a righteous man. That's how it works. So a man needs to be the man that God wants him to be so that he can attract the appropriate type of woman. And that's just is where it is. Neek said, "This is how I feel about men. I will never put my full trust in a man." And honestly, as a woman, if you can't put your full trust in a man, then you shouldn't marry him. As a woman, if you cannot put your full trust in a man, then you should not marry him. I would say that don't marry him. But let me go to this one video, and then I'm gonna go to the wedding. This woman is called at the Happy Wife School on YouTube. She has excellent content because she's brutally honest.
For the good men listening whose wives won't let you touch them, won't give a hug or a kiss or be playful, it is because we are terrified that affection will lead to sex. We won't give and express affection to a good man and how they need that in a relationship because of our fear and how shut down we are to sex. And we can't receive what our husband will do for us to show affection because we think they want something, and that something being sex. Well, you're only doing that because you want to get lucky. And that's how walled off we are and shut down to ourselves and shut down in the relationship. For the good men,
I got one more of her talking about marriage. But remember what I said, women want non-sexual affection. Remember I said that. Women want non-sexual affection. You heard what she said, because she feels like he wants sex, she's already upset about it. Hold on, let me find this other video she had. I might not be able to find it. Hold on, give me 1 second. She had a video where she just breaks down. Hold on.
the unspoken truth for good men is that you are an inconvenient accessory. Let me explain. Women get married for 3 primary reasons. Number 1 is to get married, meaning it's to check it off our list of what we think is going to make us happy and fulfill our fantasy of love. The second primary reason we get married as women, number 2, is to have children, which are a built-in excuse so we don't have to make something of ourselves and our lives. The third primary reason of why we get married is to be taken care of and then cash out. That we play the game of marriage and use our society's laws with marriage and divorce to our advantage. The cash out is a premeditated plan to be taken care of. So, to interpret these three reasons for you of why women get married, none of which you can hear, none of which are falling in love and committing to be a wife, is that you are an inconvenient accessory because she needed you to achieve these goals. The unspoken truth for good men is that you are an inconvenient accessory. Let me explain. So a good man will stay and a lot of comments. So a good man will stay and endure. The unspoken truth for good men is that you are an inconvenient accessory. Let me explain. Women get married for three primary reasons. Number one is to get married, meaning it's to check it off our list of what we think is going to make us happy and fulfill our fantasy of love. The second primary reason we get married as women, number two, is to have children, which are a built-in excuse so we don't have to make something of ourselves and our lives. The third primary reason of why we get married is to be taken care of and then cash out. That we play the game of marriage and use our society's laws with marriage and divorce to our advantage. The cash out is a premeditated plan to be taken care of. So, to interpret these three reasons for you of why women get married, none of which you can hear, none of which are falling in love and committing to be a wife, is that you are an inconvenient accessory because she needed you to achieve these goals.
And sadly enough, this is the harsh truth as to why most women get married. They get married to say they're married because they'll believe it'll make them happy. They have children because if they have children, they don't have to make something of themselves. And then also to cash out in the end. In case it doesn't work out, I'll be taken care of for life either way. Then it's just an inconvenient truth that most women, this is why they get married. It's why we talk to women about why they want to get married. They never just say, I want to be a good wife to a good man. They never say, I want to honor God by being a good wife. They never say that. They list a bunch of reasons that are very selfish. And this is why most women don't want to be married because they found a guy they want to marry. Trust me. Most women want to be married. That means the guy, there isn't a set guy they have. It's just the guy that's going to marry them. And I guarantee in today's age, most men that marry women are simps. And I'm not throwing the term simp around to say they're simps. I'm saying they're simps in the way that they won't properly vet a woman because they're weak for vagina. This is most men are weak for vagina. If you go out into the dating world, just observe, go to like a social scene and just observe guys talking to women. Guys are walking on eggshells talking to women. They don't want to offend them. They don't want to give them the ick. They don't want to rub them the wrong way. Like guys are trying to do everything they can to gain a woman's approval instead of just being themselves. This is what most men do this pattern all the way to marriage. Then they get married and you in the garage with you and the dogs watching the game and your wife is terrorizing the whole house. That's usually what happens. Most men are not happily married. And it's because they did not properly vet the woman. Because to properly vet the woman, you have to risk losing the woman because most women are not going to stay if they're properly vetted. It just is what it is. Most women are going to look for a guy they can manipulate. Most women are going to look for a guy that they can just run ragged. He can do everything she says. She can run him ragged. That's most guys. So when you're properly vetting a woman, I don't recommend any man date a woman that's not truly submitted to God. I'm just being honest. Not submitted to God in words, not submitted to God in performance. You know, not I'm gonna put this scarf on my head to pray. Not performative, committed to God. I'm gonna wear this I'm gonna do this when I pray to God. Just all performing. No, I'm talking about she's truly submitted to God, and you see it in the way she lives her life, in her actions, not her words, but her actions show you where she's a woman of God. You'll be able to tell by the way she speaks. You'll be able to tell by the way a woman talks whether or not she's spending time with God. It's not hard. Like once a man has spent time with God, he can tell off the bat whether a man's spending time with God or a woman spending time with God. But let's continue. Let's continue. Why can't I find? We gotta find it. Okay, it's gonna be interesting, you all. It's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna read this comment first, though. I'm gonna read this comment first. Why is this on my screen? I'm gonna read this comment first. Charles said, if you're afraid of losing the woman, you have made her your God, and there should be but one God. Amen. And that is true. What he said is the truth. If you're afraid of losing the woman, you have made her your God, and there should be but one God. And this is what men do. What men do is they already overinflate the woman's value based on programming and propaganda. So when men meet women in today's age, they already overinflate her value based on what they've been told their whole life. Women are great. Women are wonderful. You need a woman. You need to provide for a woman. All of these things. So when they meet a woman, her value is already overinflated. If he just sat back and actually talked to her and listened to her, he would find that most women don't add any value because they don't value what men value. A woman can only add value if she values what the man values. So if you're afraid of losing the woman, then you've made that woman your God and you are in error. This is why I say to truly properly vet a woman, you have to risk losing her because most women are not going to stay when you properly vet them, when you hold them accountable, when you're consistent with them, when you set the standard. Most women are going to reject it because most women want to still engage in bad behavior. Most women have been indoctrinated into feminism. So I'm telling you as a guy, it'll get hard. The closer you get to God, the easier it is to spot the woman, but the harder it is to get the woman only because they're more rare. I talk about the 95% of women, if you marry them, they're going to become worse. 2 to 5% have the potential, have the best potential to be a wife, meaning they'll put forth the effort, they will be held accountable, they will actually go to God when life gets hard for them. That's a huge thing. When life presents a challenge to a woman, where does she go? Does she go to her friends? Does she go to social media or does she go to God? Most women go to social media and their friends. They don't go to God because God's going to tell them the truth. So they don't want to get the truth. They go to their friends and social media, their family. The 1% woman, if you meet her, you can marry her the next day. She's already ready to go. The 1% woman is already ready to go. Thank you, Charles. Tierra says, sad to say, no one in my family taught us younger girls, women, what it means to be wives or how it looks. I never thought about getting over a man for marriage. This is wild to me. Again, Tierra, the problem is that you have to look at, as a woman, what is going to be fostered in that woman. Is it going to be her nature that's going to be fostered, or is it going to be her being a godly woman that's going to be fostered? If you foster the nature part, then it's manipulation, it's lies, deception, et cetera, et cetera. If you foster the godly woman part, then she looks at marriage as honor to God and honor to her husband. So it depends on, as a woman, what gets fostered. Most women, what gets fostered is their nature. It's their nature. And so most women don't get taught what it is to be a wife, what it is to even be a woman. They don't get taught that. If you listen to the average woman, just say, listen to her, what she believes is utter foolishness. This is why I come on here and I try to use the Bible to give a blueprint of what it means to be a godly woman. Just like in Proverbs 31 starts out with what a Proverbs 31 man is, then it goes into the woman. So Lemuel's mother is telling him, this is what a godly man is. Now you'll be able to find a godly woman. But she cautions him and she tells him that it is going to be very difficult for you to find a virtuous woman. And this was back in biblical days. Keep in mind, even back in the biblical days, they said it was hard to find a virtuous woman. Most men are weak for vagina. They're weak. Most men are not strong. You talk to the average guy, his mindset on women is not to lead them. His mindset on women is to gain companionship with them. Those are two different goalposts. Trying to be a companion to a woman is going to lead you into a pit of destruction. Wanting to lead a woman is going to lead you into prosperity. Your first goal is to lead a woman, whether you're with her or not. It should be to lead her and guide her. That should be your first motivation as a man, not to sleep with her. Because once you sleep with the woman, she has the leverage. Once you sleep with a woman, she's already looking at you like all the other men. All he wants is sex. I'm going to make him pay for it. I'm just telling you. This is why I tell men, don't sleep with the woman and she's going to crash out because she's not going to have the leverage. Because think about it. If you don't sleep with her, now she's forced to show you value in who she is. Most women can't do it. Most women cannot show a man value without their appearance, without their ability to have children, without their ability to give pleasure. Most women cannot give men value beyond that. Keep in mind, a woman can add value if she values what the man values. Men value honor, respect, loyalty, principles, commitment, character, standards. These are things that men value. Women value how they look, the fact they can have children, and the fact they can provide pleasure. That's what women put stock in. The problem is those are two different things. Now listen, men need sex, right? But what do men need more than sex is respect. So what women do is women prioritize the sex and they put the respect under that. This is why I'm telling men, the only way to get respect from a woman is to not sleep with her, because all of the other men want to sleep with her. So you're going to be the only guy that says no. Now listen, she's going to call you gay. She's going to say you don't like women. She's going to say all types of stuff. But deep down inside, she knows that that guy right there is different. Now, like I said before, most attraction for women is tied to how they can manipulate a man. So if a woman, the less she can manipulate you, the least she's going to be attracted to you. I'm just telling you. So when you meet a woman and she knows she can't get over on you, she ain't going to like you that much. Now, the godly woman is going to love you. She's going to say, thank God I found one. But most of the other women, the 95%, they're going to hate it. let me jump right into it. Let me get into it.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and I need to share the link. Copy the link. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I need to send it. Okay, guys, this is it. We are going to get married. I am now going to give the camera to our guy. Here we go. All right, we're live. No, you can turn it around. There you go. You ready? Let's go. Okay.
How prophetic is it for this wedding to start out upside down? How prophetic is it for this wedding to start upside down? Just the irony. Let's continue. Yes, this is a red pill marriage. Yes.
It says orientation is locked.
Yeah, you can't do it inside. And here we are, guys. All right, guys. Welcome to our wedding. This is going to be a very sort of informal thing. There is no what do they call it? An officiant. Pastor. Yeah, I'm the officiant. Okay, I'm the officiant, and I run this. So we're going to exchange vows. She's got a few words for me. I've got some words for her, and then I will, by the power vested in me, Donovan Sharpe. She's your wife.
Yeah, buddy.
So what do you all think so far? I'm curious. What do you all think so far? You about to see what a red pill marriage is. But what do y'all think so far? What's up, Donna? What's up, Jesse Lee? Tierra said, where is God? Usually God and the red pill don't ever mix. They don't ever intermingle. Because if God and the red pill intermingled, it would actually be a viable movement. It would actually work. DeVale said, looks like a pimp getting married. Getting married at the courthouse is red pill. They're not in the courthouse. They're not in the courthouse. It's a private event. They're in a hotel, right? Hotel, one of those little conference rooms, probably at a Holiday Inn Express. As he said, by the power invested in me. So probably at a Holiday Inn Express. Top Herc said them double D's got locked in. That's it. Well, let's watch it and see what happens. Now, I ain't gonna lie, she got some tiggos now. I ain't gonna lie, she got some tiggo bitties, but let's listen.
Yeah.
Go.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Each day, when we wake up, we choose womanhood. You have taught me that the right is due every day and not to take things for granted. A healthy garden takes watering, pruning, and attention in order to flourish. Thank you for demanding the best in me always. I promise to stand beside you, walk behind you, and be a reliable source of peace for you. I promise to show you my love through my actions, words, and thoughts. Together our lives are great, and the sky is the limit. I love you, and I'm happy to be
Go birds, baby. Cindy, it's been a hell of a ride. And the way we met was very unorthodox. Our relationship is very unorthodox. You're wearing a wedding ring now because, well, there you go. You've been wearing it for 7.5 years. But, like I said, I bring out the best in you, but you make me happy. You really do. I was happy before you, and if you and I decide to part ways for whatever reason, I'll be happy without you. But I am very, very glad to have someone like you in my life. I've been successful in many ventures in my life, and I've never really had someone like you. I really haven't. I'm glad that I made you into the woman you are today, and I'm glad that you continue to hold that standard. Success is really, really cool to have, to be financially successful, but it's much, much sweeter when you have someone like you to share it with. And so, by the power vested in me, I pronounce us man and wife.
So, listen, I'm going to play his vows again so you all can hear what this man said. These might be the best vows I've ever heard in my life from Donovan Sharpe. I'm going to play them again. These are the best vows I've ever heard in my life.
Many ventures in my life. I do is very unorthodox.
I love you, and I'm happy to be your girl. Go Eagles.
Go birds, baby. Cindy, it's been a hell of a ride. And the way we met was very unorthodox. Our relationship is very unorthodox. You're wearing a wedding ring now because, well, there you go. You've been wearing it for 7.5 years. But, like I said, I bring out the best in you, but you make me happy. You really do. I was happy before you, and if you and I decide to part ways for whatever reason, I'll be happy without you. But I am very, very glad to have someone like you in my life. I've been successful in many ventures in my life, and I've never really had someone like you. I really haven't. I'm glad that I made you into the woman you are today, and I'm glad that you continue to hold that standard. Success is really, really cool to have, to be financially successful, but it's much, much sweeter when you have someone like you to share it with. And so, by the power vested in me, I pronounce us man and wife. Okay, so now that we're officially married, I guess we'll take questions from the audience. We're going to do 10 minutes of questions, then we're going to be whisked off by ABC, and then they're going to grill us. What? After we get cake. All right, any questions? Questions, comments, whatever, yeah.
Red Pill Meathead wants to know if your life is over now.
Say what?
Red Pill Meathead wants to know how you feel now that your life is over.
Your life is over, bro. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people ask me this entire weekend, are you excited to get married? Are you excited about the wedding? No, our relationship isn't going to change. It's just not. What it really comes down to is our love for each other is 1,000% conditional. That's the way it has to be. You don't deserve love just because you think you do. You got to work for it. You know what I mean? The reason she loves me is because of what I bring to the table, and I love her because of what she brings to the table. If I cease to bring to the table what I bring to the table, she's got to go, and vice versa. So I love Devin to the moon and back. I really do. And, we like to talk like, hey, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. I have a pretty good feeling about this. I think we've done the work necessary to cultivate a good relationship. But the reason why I decided to do this today, Pearl, you actually asked me this, is because she deserves it. You guys who have followed me for years and years, you guys know she's been there from the start. She built the website. She runs all of my back end stuff. And as uncomfortable as she is on camera, she does it anyway. Trust me, John, she does not want to be on camera today, but she's going to do it anyway. So I'm very, very appreciative of you. You make me look good, even when I don't look good sometimes. And that's really, to me, that's what love is all about. And I want you guys to understand that unconditional love is not for men and women. It's for children and pets, okay? There must be conditions to your love. And this is both men and women. You can't love a man who's not good for you. And guys, you can't love a woman who's not good for you. You don't deserve anything. You have to work for what you get. And just like Dev said, guys, success is never owned. You never own success, okay? It is leased, it is rented, and dude, the rent is due every day. And if you don't pay the rent, every day, you get evicted. And so that's why we're here.
So I'm gonna give my take on these thoughts of unconditional love. Shout out to Justice. I'm building a fan Discord to discuss Blanche's videos, topics, plus culture and more. To get the join link, please email fansofblanche@gmail.com. Again, that's fansofblanche@gmail.com. Thank you. So I'm gonna say this right. So the only way to love is to love unconditionally. Anything that's not unconditional love is something else. It's strong like, but it's not love. Love is only done one way, unconditionally. Now, I'm not saying that you love somebody and you just be foolish with them. This is what the world teaches. They teach that unconditional love means you got to be stupid for somebody. That's not what unconditional love is. Unconditional love is I'm holding someone to a standard. I'm holding you to a standard. I'm holding you accountable. I'm holding you responsible. That's what love is. What Hollywood did was Hollywood said love is like this, where you're supposed to be foolish. That's not love. That's called infatuation. That's called strong attraction, maybe even lust, but it's not love. So when it comes to God, God loves us unconditionally. And because God loves us unconditionally, God has requirements for us. But those requirements are for us to succeed here on earth. Without those requirements, we wouldn't be successful down here. Hope that makes sense. So Christ sacrificed himself, right? God came down in the flesh and died so that the world might be saved. That was an unconditional act, meaning humanity did not deserve it. I didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it, but God did it. Now, that act of unconditional love comes with conditions on your part. So, in other words, just because God loves us unconditionally doesn't mean we can just do what we want to do. Because if we had unconditional love for God, we would be obedient. It wouldn't be an issue. So when people are unconditional in their love, I love my family members, I love my friends, but however, I'm not going to be stupid though. Meaning, I'm not going to give you money knowing you got a drug habit. I'm not going to give you money knowing you got a gambling problem because I love you and the behavior is destructive. I'm not going to give you the wrong advice because I love you. What we've done is, and devil has done, is he's inverted it. He's made people believe that you're supposed to give your drug addict child money because you love them unconditionally. It's not unconditional love. That's called being foolish. The prodigal son, when he returned for being out here in the world, his father greeted him with open arms. His father gave him a ring, gave him his robe, slaughtered a calf. They had a feast and a party because the prodigal son had returned. His father loved him unconditionally. But did he get all of his inheritance back? Absolutely not. Did his father give him his inheritance back? Absolutely not. Why? Because giving him his inheritance back would have been wrong. You see, unconditional love will never have you doing what's wrong. That's how you know it's not unconditional love. So these folks running around here saying that they love unconditionally, they're lying. Because unconditional love should never have you doing something that's wrong. That's what most people do when they unconditionally love. It's really a cop out and an excuse.
All right, is that it? Hoppy, what you got?
I just want to say I'm not into getting married, man, but I'll do it like that. Yeah. That was alpha and boss as fuck.
Oh, well. So I'm an alpha male wedding, bro. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Yo, Big Mo.
When you first said, you know what, she deserves this. How long into it was it?
About 15 minutes. 15 minutes ago. No,
like 15 minutes. Like when y'all said, when y'all was like, all right, Donovan and Devin, we together.
Yeah.
And now you're like, you know what, this wedding, she deserves it. How long into it?
Yeah. I think it was about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Because people ask a lot of questions about our relationship. Why don't you get married and this and that and the third? And it's obvious, right? We just didn't want to get the state involved. But believe it or not, the one great idea that came from he who must not be named was the notion of a private marriage. And so, as much as I want to kick the guy's teeth in, I got to give him props for this because he is one of the main reasons why I'm here now, for better or worse. But it took a while. Yeah.
When I first was coming down to meet you a couple years.
Now look at these characters. Look at these characters in the room. Look at these band, like again, and I talk about this. Most red pill guys, they're how can I be respectful? Most red pill guys don't have quality experiences with women. They don't. And it just is what it is. So most of their experience with women have been bad because usually red pill guys, for the most part, are very shallow. Now, listen, I agree with not getting the state involved in a marriage. I agree 1,000%. The state should not be involved when two people come together to get married. I agree with that. But I'm also going to say that most red pill guys are very shallow and superficial, meaning they want the girl that everybody else wants. They don't want the quality woman. They want the woman that they believe other guys want and that other women want to be. So it's a very superficial and shallow approach to dating and mating. It just is. So most of these red pill guys are tricks. They're simps. They just are. And I can tell by the way they talk, because there's no way you've been around women enough to know that some of this stuff ain't gonna work because you're not factoring in a woman's nature. You got to factor in her nature, and also you have to be able to talk to the woman, interact with the woman, even ways to even create attraction. All these things matter. It's not really a script or a book you can just really read to do. It has to be in you. You talk about pimping. They would say pimping got to be in you, not on you. And it's true. It's a certain type of guy that's a pimp. A certain type of guy that's a simp. Like, it just is what it is. And so I'm saying that most of these guys that you can see, these are the red pill guys. Like to even go to this wedding. Come on. But let's continue.
You got to do your suits. Let's see you be the first one.
I don't know. I'm like Donovan Sharpe. I might be going down. You might have a couple women around him.
Right.
Anything's a possibility. But when I went in and I interacted with you, her, you have like much more saying a hello, and I was like, I know that thing is
Thank you.
Much respect.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And by the way, Aaron Houch, Tailored Carnivore on Instagram. This guy designed all of my suits. He made my pants. You know, all these custom shirts. I've never had clothes with my name on it. But that's actually pretty cool. It's kind of sort of flex. So, but I appreciate it. Anybody else? All right, let's see.
Well, I got
wait a
it.
minute, wait a
Sorry,
minute.
I'm just holding the camera right now. All right, first off, congratulations to you both.
Thanks, sir.
I've known you since episode 2. It's crazy that I'm at your wedding now, but
Right.
obviously my girlfriend Marilyn's here. Devin, what advice would you give? One piece of advice that you would give this young lady right here.
You know, be very familiar where your lines are, because when you start sweating the small stuff, the big stuff actually will blow up in your face. Where you just learn to let the small stuff go and accept it and build on it, not try to change it and
Like leaving the cabinet open.
yeah, you just learn to live. There's some things you gotta learn to accept, learn to live with, and focus on the good things that you are getting from it. And it's really important that, you know, one thing I learned is that you need to talk to yourself in the mirror like you're a friend. But a lot of times we don't talk to our loved ones or our spouses like they're our friends as well. And I know that it's cliche to say oh, I married my best friend and all this stuff, but the truth is that if you don't treat each other with respect, always, and that's why I said even in your thoughts, it will bleed through in your actions and your words, and it will start to deteriorate the relationship from the inside out. So if you have issues, meet them head on. Don't let shit fester. Excuse me. Don't let things fester, and just don't be afraid to say, hey, this bothers me, and do it in a way that's respectfully timed, and timing is of course key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you brought concerns to my attention, and you don't always have the best timing, but
You've got to do it in a loving way. Like, hey, this is a concern of mine, not, hey, you did this wrong.
I don't do anything wrong. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Appreciate that.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Hold on. I don't know what the heck just happened. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what the heck just happened. Let me rewind it some. Yeah. So she was talking, saying a bunch of nothing. Now listen. Now, Diamone asked, why does this look like a PowerPoint presentation? And I'll tell you, it's because it's a show. Someone said she was formerly a heroin addict. I believe it. Like I could tell she's had a troubled life. I can just tell by the way she looks. She's older. I can just tell she's been through it. She's older. Probably used to be fairly attractive with some big breasts. She probably went through hell. A lot of women that look decent go through hell because they have more attention from men, and they're going to make more. They have more opportunities to make the wrong choice. Somebody mentioned people come on the stream. I think on Tuesday, Thursday, I'm going to open the show up for folks to come on and talk. I may give like each person, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We can discuss what they want us to discuss or ask me any questions they want to ask or whatever. I'll do that next Thursday. But most women that are this late in the game, getting married, or they've been through a lot. And it's just because the more she's exposed to, the more access she has to men, the more likely she's going to make very poor choices. And it's just, you know, how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, you know, I can tell he didn't want her to talk. And again, this relationship is probably a lot different behind closed doors. The fact that he said that, you know, he said he's less aware, he's less in shape. Like, so what a relationship does is that it usually softens men. So the reason how I know that a lot of this red pill stuff is BS that he's saying is because his reaction to being with his woman, he wouldn't be going down, he'd be elevating. So he would be in more shape, he would be more wise, like he would increase because the woman would essentially become his iron. Iron sharpens iron. But the fact that he's letting himself go, he admitted this, he's letting himself dwindle down in a relationship, it's because women are gonna make you comfortable. And they're making you comfortable because, like he said, you know, he loves her. So you naturally let your guard down. I'm not telling men to keep their guard up. I'm just telling you that when you get with a woman of God, you are supposed to elevate because she's going to want you to be your best. She's not going to want you to have a gut. Think about a godly woman that actually unconditionally loves you. She's going to tell you things that may offend you. Baby, I don't like your gut. You shouldn't have a gut. You need to go to the gym, babe. Like, these things would offend most men that are providing for the household. But what she's telling you is the truth. So on like where a man has to risk losing the woman to set a standard, the woman has to risk offending the man to hold him to his standard, if that makes sense. So when you get with a woman, you should not be falling off. I'm sorry. When I see men falling off in a relationship, that means the woman is in control because there's no way you could still be who you are and you fall off. It's impossible. She would want you to, matter of fact, she want both of you all to be at your best. So say you all worked out at 5 a.m. every morning. The morning you didn't get up, she'd be waking you up. We got to go to the gym, baby. That's the type of woman you need. She upholds the standard. She don't let the standard slip.
And so it's kind of like decide now, figure it out later, which a lot of the things that I have to figure out later, let's be honest, because there's a technical aspect to a lot of, but in a loving, there's me and your thoughts. It's really important to open your things. Be very familiar where your lines are, because when you start sweating the small stuff, it becomes, the big stuff actually will blow up in your face, where you just learn to let the small stuff go and accept it and build on it, not try to change it and
like leaving you happy or something?
Yeah, you just learn to live. There's some things you gotta learn to accept, learn to live with, and you know, focus on the good things that you are getting from it. And it's really important that, you know, one thing I learned is that you need to talk to yourself in the mirror like you're a friend. But a lot of times we don't talk to our loved ones or our spouses like they're our friends as well. And I know that it's cliche to say treat, you know, oh, I married my best friend and all this stuff, but the truth is that if you don't treat each other with respect, always, and that's why I said even in your thoughts, it will bleed through in your actions and your words, and it will start to deteriorate the relationship from the inside out. So if you have issues, meet them head on. Don't let shit fester. Excuse me. Don't let things don't let things fester, and just don't be afraid to say, hey, this bothers me, and you know, but do it in a way that's respectfully timed, and timing is of course key.
Of the essence, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you brought concerns to my attention, and you don't always have the best timing, but
But you've got to do it in a loving way. You know, like, hey, this is a concern of mine, not, hey, you did this wrong, you know.
I don't do anything. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Appreciate that. Let's have a little bit of fun. Tell the people things that you don't like about me, like my idiosyncrasies.
You're impulsive. And so it's kind of like decide now, figure it out later, which a lot of the things that I have to figure out later, let's be honest, because there's a technical aspect to a lot of these decisions.
Yes, there is.
So while he's thinking on the front end benefits and things, I'm thinking in the background, like, okay,
how's this gonna work?
How am I going to put these products together to sell the ticket with the product to make this happen, and push the notifications to the ads? What service do we need for this? And how do we stop this bot attack from this? And we lost this processor. So there's always things in the background that are going on related to the business.
Yep.
And I love that about, because I'm good handling things in the background. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be.
And let me say this about this woman, right? I believe she's a good woman. Like, let me say this, let me be clear. I don't think she's a bad woman. And clearly she adds value to this man's life. So I don't think that she's not valuable. I just know to be where she is in life, to be with him, there's been a lot of growth that's taken place. She's come from a place and come out of something to get to that point. And so, but I think she's a good woman. I do. And I think she's good for him. And again, I think she's so good for him that when he's alone with her, he lets himself go. Because it is, as a man, it's hard being on guard at your post every day, all the time. You want to be able to relax and chill. I get it. But honestly, when you have a good woman, you can do that. But at the same time, if you have a standard of health and wellness and all this stuff, she should want you to keep that standard. And so, like he even mentioned, it's inopportune time when she addresses him. Like I said, as the woman, you got to be okay with sometimes him being offended if what you're doing is actually from a righteous and godly place. So if you're telling him the truth, something that he needs, if you see something he can't see, you got to risk him being upset, because that's unconditional love. Because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. So we talk about unconditional love. Unconditional love is not allowing someone to get over on you. Unconditional love is you are willing to hold him to a standard, even at the expense of the relationship. Even at the expense of the relationship. And so I'm not going to say she's not a good woman. Now, this person says, you don't know anything about these people. She's divorced with a daughter and denies she has one despite court records providing otherwise. Again, I just said, and I can tell when somebody's emotional because they always bypass what I say. I just said that the woman has been through something. She's come from a place. Somebody mentioned that she was on heroin before. I wouldn't surprise me. So I'm going to say what I said before, oh, emotional child. I know she's been through some stuff to get to where she is right now to be with this man. I said this before, that women that are attractive have more opportunities to make the wrong choice when it comes to men. Usually attractive women go out into this world and get their head knocked off. That's what I said. So I don't know these people, but I need you to be mature and listen to what I say and not be so ready to be emotionally responsive to something. So I hope that answers your question. Now, I don't know this woman. I hope that answers your question, though. Let's continue.
That's just always been the way that I am. It's not that because, oh, well, I'm being a submissive girlfriend and all this stuff. No, it's the fact that even when I was working in the restaurant industry, I was working in the kitchen because I don't want to deal with people. But yeah, so I think the things that annoy me about you are things that I can handle. Whereas, the things that I think, I don't know, like I would say impulsiveness and shoot first, ask questions later. Because sometimes you're not always right, but
What? That's all
sometimes. But it's funny to me because I'll be like, He'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, but together as a team, we're not here to prove each other wrong. We're here to reinforce each other and bolster each other up. So, yeah.
So I leave
cabinet doors open.
Cabinet doors open, refrigerator doors.
Never lock the car.
Nope. Nope, I never do. I leave doors open, the garage door. I'm just
all night long.
Yep, all night long. Yeah.
In Philly?
Yeah. Well, we live in. Hey, look, I am not in the hood. I make too much money to be living in the hood. I would say
that, and he leaves a trail everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Socks and
to say that the hotel room was a mess is understatement. It's clean now. 5 minutes, but it's all
really.
Good.
I thought you'd be in there for like an hour. It was ugly in there. Also,
like I said, I don't think he's this red pill. Again, he putting on for the camera. I listened to Donovan Sharpe talk about a relationship he had when he was 31 and the girl was 19. And at 31, listen, most of these guys have very bad relationship with women because they don't pick women based on character. They pick women that they believe other men want. They pick women based on attraction. They don't pick them based on, is she going to add value to his life? Is she going to have character standards? Most red pill guys are very superficial. Tierra said, what man doesn't make sure his house is secure at night? I don't know. Leaving the garage door open is crazy. Donna said it's capped at this point. Top Herc said white women are good at decorum and making up stuff on the fly. Donna Outdoors said most red pill men only go after looks is true. Shifty said these two, the type to drive 80s convertible Camaros. Facts. Or convertible Corvettes. Facts. 80s convertible Corvettes. Facts. You are not lying. Spouses that publicly undermine their better half are out for self-destruction. I agree. But again, Shay, what did I say that wasn't true? You haven't said what I said that wasn't true. I gave my opinion. Do I think she's a good woman? And then I said she's good for him. I don't know the woman. Based on what I see, I don't know the woman. It's called an opinion. Again, you're being emotional because you started watching the red pill content because you were emotional. And now you got a vendetta against this. I don't know this woman. I don't really care that much. I thought the wedding itself was interesting, but I'm offering my opinion that could be wrong. That's all. I never said it was truth. You're saying it's truth. I'm giving my opinion. Thank you, Nicodemus. Define truth. Again, this is the problem with most people online, is that most people online out in the real world, they are dweebs. They come online to be somebody. They come online to get their rocks off. They come online to be something else. I said in the beginning of this video and several times that they are putting on for the camera. I've already said this, they putting on. I already said behind closed doors, their relationship ain't like this. I already said this, but you skipped over everything I said because you were so emotional. You had to get your rocks off. You had to tell the world that this woman right here ain't a good woman. I got the court papers. She got a daughter. She denies her daughter. All this stuff. Tell me, when has somebody's opinion have to be labeled as truth? Think about what this person is saying. If I have an opinion, it has to be the truth, even though I could be wrong. If I said my opinion is always right, everybody would say you're lying. So when my opinion is wrong, how is it held against me? Again, it's just being emotional. It's just being emotional. That's all. This is being emotional. It's just being emotional. But yeah, that's their wedding. Let me see if Just Pearly Thing says something. Let me fast forward. I didn't watch all of it. Let me just see if she says something.
I'm very cool-headed, right?
Yeah. Girlfriends.
Oh, she did say something.
Women are one way, men are another way.
That's right.
You either accept it or you go the other way.
All right, very good. Pearl, you in the front.
How many girlfriends did you have to cut off to make the relationship work? Were there any?
Oh, yes, there were.
Yeah, quite a few. And honestly, like, it really, I just don't even talk about. I don't try to tell people about my personal life.
Not anymore.
You know, it's like the women that I have gotten to know, my personal trainers, and keep friends with, because his wives are close friends and stuff. They get it. They get it because they see it working. But if you just try to tell somebody about it, it's gonna be like, you're crazy. What do you have, no backbone and all this stuff? But it's kind of like, hey, you know what? When you go through life, you learn from your mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. I ended up with a guy like this. So, if you're going to find a partner who is more laid back and doesn't take charge and doesn't have a backbone, you're going to have a whole new set of problems to deal with, and you're going to end up unhappy and resentful as well. So I'd rather be unhappy and not resentful. Just kidding. But no, it's good because we both have the opposite temperament, so we balance each other out. And that polarity is really important, I think, and that's something that I got wrong early in life. I thought I need something who matched me in all respects, and the yin and my yang, but not realizing that you need that polarity in order to have balance in a relationship.
I got one for you, Devin. So I'm in a relationship, so I want to know what's the clock before the marriage thing. 3 years, 5 years before it starts getting heavy on the clock. You know what I mean? For her to feel like, oh, this ain't for real until like what's the clock?
It depends on where you are in life.
Yeah. So this was the wedding. I just saw it and thought it was interesting. I never saw a red pill wedding before. But yeah. But Pearl asked the question, how many girlfriends did you have to cut off? And the girl was like, he was like, a lot. And like I said, they've been together, I think he said 7 years. So they've been together for a minute. It's been 7 years. So it's not somebody he just met. And like I said, you with somebody that long, it's only natural that you all become friends and, you know each other. I mean, it's just, like I said, their relationship, when he said that he is less sharp, less wise, getting out of shape, that means he's comfortable. That means he's comfortable. And so the fact that he's comfortable lets you know that he really trusts this woman and he loves this woman. Listen, I agree, Neek. How do you need to ask someone else when you should get married? It is. Again, most of these red pill people, most of them, they had bad experiences with women because they wanted the women that they thought all the other guys wanted. They didn't go after the good chicks, the good girls. They didn't. They were after the women that all the men wanted, and they got their head knocked off for it. I have one more video. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Lotto, who just announced her first child.
You did not enter your relationship with a shared goal or mission. You started your relationship off of wanting validation and to feel worthy of love. And because you didn't get into this relationship to try to build something, that's why your relationships keep falling apart. Because when your goal getting into a relationship is to get validation, the conversations look like a lot of questions and need for reassurance, such as, do you still want me? Do you still choose me? Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? And so these relationships aren't being built off of a shared mission. Instead, it's going to be based entirely off of performance. It's going to be a relationship where you're constantly checking to see if you're still good enough. And here is exactly why your relationships keep falling apart. Because when two people are leading the relationship with a need for validation, nobody's leading with love. And now it's two people fighting to feel seen instead of two people building something together that is bigger than them. And you're going to notice something. Over time, you have trained the relationship to rely on emotional reassurance instead of emotional responsibility. If in the relationship you're constantly giving your partner validation, right? Every time they are in need of emotional regulation, you're there to tend to that need. What you're going to notice over time is that your spouse is more concerned about feeling loved by you instead of just loving you. And if you're the person that is in constant need of validation, what you're going to notice is you didn't just fall in love with your spouse or your partner. Instead, you made them God. Because now your identity depends on feeling chosen, worthy, validated by your partner. And the moment that
And this is what happens in, I'll venture to say, most relationships. Most people get in relationships because there is a deficiency within them. I used to say a long time ago that people date for their insecurities. Most people get in relationships because there's a deficiency that is in them. I realized something that throughout my whole life, I've never been excited about getting into a relationship ever, because I always knew what it came with. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. Every relationship I've ever had, I've always felt responsibility. It was never just a joyous thing. People were like, well, you got commitment issues. It ain't commitment issues. It's just that at the core level, I know that there is some need for validation from the woman. There is something that she wants that's missing that I really can't fill the void for. Nobody can. She got to go to God to get it filled. And honestly, once she goes to God, God gonna tell her, well, it's already in you to do anyway. But I just say that most people date or get in relationships because they want to satisfy a need. Whatever that need is, whether it be loneliness, companionship, or need, most folks don't get into a relationship to see how I can be my best self for this other person, which should be the intent. The intent behind a relationship or marriage should be, I'm going to be the best version I can be for this person, because that's how much regard I hold them in. That's how much I love them. That's how much I respect them, that I want to commit myself to them and be the best version I can be. That's supposed to be the mindset for a relationship, not I need to be with somebody just to say I'm with somebody. Most women I talk to just want to be married to say they married. That's it. They don't care who the guy is. They don't care. I want to be married. They don't care how they get it. That's why I said a woman, the worst time in a woman's life, when you get the worst out of a woman, is when she wants to get married. When a woman wants to get married, she will lie, cheat, steal. She will do everything. She will make a deal. She will cut her hand and bleed blood on a contract and make a deal with the devil when she wants to get married. That is the worst version of a woman when she wants to get married. When she's ready to get married, boy, they do the most diabolical and wicked and evil stuff imaginable. Yes, Anik, desperate. Desperate.
They stop performing perfectly, you're going to feel abandoned, neglected, and rejected. And for the person that's just giving all of the validation, you're going to feel drained over time because now they're going to view you as their God instead of you just being a regular human being that was trying to give them love. And human beings make terrible gods. So to the person that's needing validation all the time, they were never meant to carry that much responsibility. And to the person who's giving all the validation, you were never meant to carry all of that burden. And so this is why your relationships keep falling apart. Because you're looking to receive something from somebody that you can't even give to yourself.
And again, she hit the nail on the head. People are trying to get from another person what they can't get from themselves. And so somebody said desperate. So when women, if a woman says she's ready to get married, she wants to be married, she's already out of order. She's already out of order because she should be prepared to be a wife. But she's watching that clock, and that clock is ticking. So that clock is ticking, and guess who's holding the clock? God ain't holding the clock. Who's holding the clock? The devil. And Satan is telling her, you're running out of time. You better hurry up. So when a woman wants to get married in that time period in her life, that's when she's at her worst because she listened to the devil. Because God's going to tell you to be patient. The devil's going to tell you to rush. God's going to tell you to be patient, have faith, trust me. The devil's going to tell you to rush. This is why almost 80% of the marriages that end in divorce, the divorce is initiated by women. Black women have the highest divorce rate at 85%. Think about that. 85% of Black marriages where there's a divorce, it's the Black woman. This is why I don't listen to the notion of men know who their wife is. They don't know. He don't know. Because if he knew, we would not have a 50% divorce rate. If men knew who their wife truly was, we would not have a 50% divorce rate. And women wouldn't be initiating 70+% of divorces. Those two facts alone let you know that men don't know how to pick a woman. You know why? Because men don't want to lose the woman. And if you don't risk losing the woman, you can't properly vet her. If you truly vet a woman, you are going to risk losing a woman because most women are going to reject righteous leadership. Most women are going to reject righteous leadership because most women have already been conditioned and they have an insatiable appetite for bad behavior. Women want to get married. They don't want to be wives. Women want to go by what it looks like. They don't care about the man being happy. They don't care about being a good wife. That's a lie. If it was true, the marriage rate wouldn't be at 50%. Think about it, men initiate 99% of marriages, but women initiate 70+% of divorces. What does that tell you? Think about that. Men, that means that almost 100% of the time, when it's time to get married, the man is initiating the marriage. That means the man is putting up his life, his freedom, his money, everything for this woman. But then in the marriage, when it's time to leave the marriage, it's the woman checking out first. again, what drives a man is character, morals, standards, honors, principle, etc. What drives a woman is security, provision, non-sexual affection. She cares about how she looks, whether she can have children, whether she can provide pleasure. The woman's existence is a lot more superficial than the man. The woman has to learn to value what the man values. That's the only way she can add value.
You need to ask yourself, am I love so I can give it? Or am I wandering around looking to feel loved by others? So if this really hit you, I did come up with a guide called Why Your Relationships Keep Falling Apart. And this hits the patterns that is causing your relationship to fail, such as unhealed trauma, poor communication, validation cycles, and emotional dependency. And my guide addresses these things so that you can experience real, genuine, stable love. You can just click the link in my bio above if you want it.
And her name is something Bell. Oh. I've shown her before, but I'll make sure to get her name on here. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I wish I could have saw her name on this video. What's her name? I'm gonna get it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get it. Thank you, Anthony Labrakiak, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Cruise Missile, always supporting. Thank you again, Cruise Missile. And thank you again, Cruise Missile, a third time. Thank you, Anthony Labrakiak, for the super sticker. And Charles, we already showed yours. If you're afraid of losing a woman, you have made her your God, and there should be but one God. And yes, you have to risk losing the woman to properly lead her, guide her, and love her. You have to risk losing the woman, because if you try to lead a woman righteously, most women are going to reject it because they can't use manipulation. They can't lie. They have to go against their nature. Like I told you all, that the good man is a constant reminder to the woman of who she should be. And the woman, her nature is to conquer the man. So as a man, you must risk losing the woman. That's the only way to truly love her, is to risk to listen like God loves us. God loves us, but at a fault to where God's like, I love y'all so much, I'm gonna give y'all free will to make the choice. And it's same with the man and the woman. If you can't lose the woman, you cannot properly lead her or guide her. You can't do it. I'm just telling you. And it just is what it is. So you have to risk losing a woman. And for most of you men out there, any honorable man, any righteous man out there, you're going to lose most women because you got a standard. And just imagine a woman comes to you and you're telling her things that she's never heard a man say before. You're holding her accountable to things that she's never been held accountable before. Like, just think about you being an anomaly. So think about all the other guys validating her position, her family validating her position, her friends validating her position, social media validating her position, Hollywood validating her position. Everywhere she turns, they're telling her that she's right. You're the only person that's telling her she's wrong. Who's she gonna listen to? Not you. So as a man, if you are a God-fearing man truly, these women are going to initially reject you. Now they'll come around in the end after they got their head knocked off, but you're not going to want to be with them after that because they've already tainted themselves. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, as a man, you have to risk losing the woman. That is the only way to properly love her and to properly lead her. Thank you so much, Diamone. Her name is Jada Bell, y'all. I'm so sorry. Jada Bell. Put it back up on the screen.
You did not enter your relationship.
Her name is Jada Bell, y'all. This is Jada Bell. Thank you so much, Diamone. I appreciate it. But you have to risk losing the woman. And that's going to require you to tell her the truth. And most women are going to reject it. But in order to tell that woman the truth, in order to be okay with losing that woman, you got to first be okay with who God created you to be. You got to first be firm in who you are as a man. You got to already have your feet planted in the ground of who you are as a man. You got to already be in your purpose. You got to already have an understanding so that where if the woman leaves, you are not crushed and devastated, because your identity isn't in the woman. Your identity is in Christ. That's the way you can properly lead a woman. Most men have their identity in either being able to get women or having secured a woman. One of those two, that's most men. And most men suffer because of it. They're going to suffer. Stem said, Jesus said his sheep know his voice. If a woman is yours, she will respond appropriately to your voice. Amen. And that's it in a nutshell. Jesus said his sheep know his voice. If a woman is yours, she will respond appropriately to your voice. And that's just in a nutshell. So fellas, if a woman is not responding to your voice, then that means she's not your woman. So I'm telling you now, don't beat your head up against the brick wall. Just part ways. I'm just telling you all, because the chances of her going from not hearing your voice to hearing your voice, and it's highly unlikely. And like I said, most women go out into the world and try to double back to the good man. I'm telling y'all right now, fellas, don't do it. Don't do it. Somebody, the student said, getting women is one of the easiest things I've ever done. That's not a flex, and it's not. It is very easy to get a woman. What is difficult is getting a woman that actually fears the Lord. That's going to be difficult. You can get a woman all day. You can get married all day. But finding a God-fearing woman, finding a truly virtuous woman, finding a preserved woman, that's going to be very difficult. Almost mission impossible. Listen, I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today.